This is Jasper,
And
3-year-old labradoodle. Mom was a golden doodle, dad was a lab. He is from the same household as Murphy, who graduated last month.
oh, is that right?
Murphy, so he wasn't the one that was originally signed up.
Oh,
Murphy was causing big problems by the lunging and the barking on the leash and going after the small dogs. Jasper doesn't cause problems like that. He naturally stays pretty close to them, not a huge problem walking. So it was more important to get Murphy to us. But once Murphy came home trained, they realized Jasper needed to get on the same page. He is described as extremely stubborn. You try to tell him to stop doing something, he's just gonna keep right on doing it. He jumps on tables, he jumps on counters, he eats things off the counters. Coming home from work, they describe the noises that he makes as him being skinned alive. It is ear piercing, screaming, barking, and that's whether they're gone for 5 minutes or 5 hours. And then that aggravates Murphy, who starts barking. So now they have a way to correct Murphy, but not Jasper. So they weren't feeling like it was very fair for Murphy to be the only one that had to uphold that standard.
Plus that must drive you insane. That would drive me off the wall.
Yes.
After a hard day's work
Yes.
or whatever.
They also brought up some false confidence. Like with them, he's super confident, right? But if they drop him off at the groomer or the vet, tail goes between the legs, he's removed from his pack, not so confident. So definitely feels more powerful around his
And he's
owners.
smart. I mean, I'm assuming by interacting with him, he feels pretty intelligent.
Yes, but
so he understands that you don't want him to do something.
Correct.
I imagine. It's not him saying, I didn't know.
I don't know what you're saying.
I didn't know you didn't like it.
Yeah. So that's Jasper. Very nice dog, but very stubborn and needs some help with correcting bad behaviors and the vocalization.
All right, Jasper. That's all right.
They do a lot of frustrated yelling.
Well, it is very frustrating. I understand. But the yelling doesn't work, otherwise we don't have a job. Alright, so we're going to start with the recall as we start with every dog. The recall is what's going to be able to allow us to do more with him. We need to be able to get him to us. But if he's a guy who's stubborn, he might not want to come to me. So you'll learn all about how we expect the recall to work here. If we say, come here, or if he hears the tone on the collar, drop what you're doing and come to me, or there'll be a correction. This is for safety, this is for control, this is for our own sanity. I like starting with that and also developing a stay. So I can tell the dog to come here, I can tell the dog to stay. And now that once I get those things, and as I get those things, I can then start having more conversations with him about his behavior. Okay? I understand it's very frustrating when your dog doesn't listen, and especially when they're being that loud for no reason really, other than it's anxiety. Really, it's over the top, it's overreaction, which is usually a sign of anxiety and insecurity and all that stuff. So I don't know him too well yet. Good. We'll get to know him a little bit. Seems friendly enough so far. I like that. That's a good start. Seems like he's got pack drive where he wants to be with the pack. I always think that's a good sign. And we're going to start with recall here. See what he does with that. He's already hanging around. Yeah, so he bolts outdoors, I'm imagining, huh? Maybe if I told him to stay, he would. He's older, he's 3. Yeah, open up this door. There's a door there, got him distracted, he goes in. Come here, bud. Hi, how are you? Good boy. Just to give him a reason to recall him. Wow, and that was good, but that's not good though. You see how he took off there? Good boy. Hey, look at this guy. I love that. How you doing today? So I'm just going to recall, tell him he's doing a good job. He leaves, it's a correction and a recall. This is how I teach it. Good. It's going to develop a stay. It's going to get our placement and mindset right. We want a dog to come to us and stay until told otherwise. We don't want a dog to get close to us and run away when we recall them. Good. So from the first rep, we're teaching that expectation. Good boy. Cool thing is, we will have what some people might think are higher expectations, but in all honesty, it's very simple stuff and it's not difficult to learn. So the recall is, come here, buddy. A lot of dogs can figure that out. Stay, don't come over here, stay. A lot of dogs can figure that out, right? Don't pull on the leash. They can figure this stuff out. It's not complex. But doesn't mean they're going to listen just because they know what you're saying. Just like us in society, we need punishments and rewards in order to keep our behavior under control. Same with dogs. So obviously this guy needs to be corrected for these not only undesirable behaviors, not only annoying and stressful behaviors, but also they can be dangerous too. If we're kind of not paying attention, we don't have control over a dog, that's when things can get dangerous, right? A dog can go out a door, a dog can go up on another dog, even when we don't, it's not a safe situation. We just don't have control. And anytime the humans lack control in the household, it tends to be a little bit more chaotic. So this is good. He stayed here. He's not moving around. This is a good guy. Not looking up at me though. If he was doing this absolutely perfect, we would see him sit and look at me and listen and give me some attentiveness. I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is thoughts, and he's thinking about the door, and he might be thinking about other options, but right now he's definitely thinking about the door, right? So it's half of his, and he just got here, but half of his brain is still thinking about being unfaithful, right? Especially if I say, hey, don't go out that door, and then I open up the door, and then he goes out. But this is the style of training, because it mimics real life. I am going to open that door. I am going to tell him I don't want him to go through that door. And then he is going to be able to make any decision he wants. But there will now be consequences that will affect his behavior. Proper punishment and rewards depending on the choices he chooses in order to develop his brain into one that will be successful living with the modern human. And bolting out a door when it's open is a red flag. That tells me when I know a dog does that, a dog who won't wait for food, or a dog who's yanking you on the leash, those are all red flags of dogs who do not listen when you need them to, which means we're just living life going around these situations if we can, avoiding them. But it really comes down to, if I need the dog to listen and the dog chooses they don't want to, it's not a good situation. We need control, okay? He will give us a hard time to get that control. It's natural, they all do. But then we will become the leader and he'll be the follower and life will be much easier. All right, buddy, good boy. That's very good boy, Jasper. Hey, Jasper. Break. I love that, Jasper. I love it. You're so cute and you're so sweet. Yes, you are. And you're very nice. But listen, he just got here, right? So I am like a stranger to him. So there's no wonder he wants to go out the door, right? It's natural. But he lives with me right now, and he's going to live with me for weeks. So what he's going to learn as the days go on is, I'm just the leader in this pack, and you're part of my pack, and you're the follower. Anytime in my pack, you try to lead, that's really the only time we have problems. It is the only time we're going to have a problem. Is if you try to lead, which means you don't listen to me, is the only time we're going to have problems. But if you just do your job and be a follower, and I do my job and be a leader, everything's going to be amazing. That's what he learns as the days go on, right? As he tests the boundaries and does all the things that are driving his owners, kind of crazy at home. All those things aren't going to work out for him here. He's free to try them. They will be corrected and he will be directed. And then he's free to try them again. We're not going to make him do anything. We're just going to start delivering the proper consequences for when he does them so that the bad behaviors go away and the good behaviors come out. All right? According to what I think and what the owners want is going to be successful for him going home, right? He seems like a good dog, seems like a nice dog. Seems like there's a lot of potential in this beautiful boy. I love that. That is a good dog. Well, somebody did something with you there with that, maybe. That looks good. This is very good. And then when he looks up at me, that's when I interact with him with the pads and I let him know what an amazing dog. Most dogs love it when you tell them just how great they are. So I definitely want to use that as a reward for him to let him know. If he's willing to work for that praise and affection, which he definitely seems like he is, then that's going to be my number one way to let him know I'm proud of you. I love how you're behaving today. And I want to get to the point with him where he actually wants to work for that. He wants to be a good boy, you know what I'm saying? They want to please you once you're able to solidify the leadership position. If you can't solidify the leadership position, they don't take you seriously, and they disrespect you a lot of little disrespects throughout the day, a lot of little tiny disrespects they do to you. You know, getting on the counter, checking on your food, here goes the problem. Correction, recall. Good boy. That's gonna be good for him. Good. Out there is the real world. I don't have control over the real world as much as I would like, so I need to make sure that my dog understands in our relationship, I have to be able to, when it comes to doors and like things out in the world, I have to be able to go out first and have first access to take a look around and then release you. Alright? Good. So that was exactly what I needed to happen in order to, all those little experiences where he tries something that he normally would do, that's not such a great idea, does them, gets it corrected, gets a correction, gets directed, then doesn't do it and does a better choice and gets a good boy. We're rewiring a dog who's already 3 years old. We're rewiring his responses. Look at him here. He took a couple steps. He looks at the door and he says, how's this work? Right? Stepped out, got corrected. That's not the way. Not without permission. He's going to start to see everything that I want, including a door, people, dogs, whatever it is. I have to look up at my owner and I have to get permission to get them, to have access to them, because my owner, as the leader of the pack, gets first access to the stuff. Whether it's resources like food, people, or dogs, or situations. Let me deal with the situation. If my dog's challenging me by trying to go to the resource or deal with the situation and just not even concerned about how I feel about it, I correct my dog because now he's stepping on my toes in my position of this pack, which is leader. Right? Unless I tell you to go interact with it, if you do it without my permission, I'm going to have a problem as your leader. He has never been my follower before. He's been a follower to other, maybe not, but he's been a different pack. My pack operates this way. That's what he's learning. I can come to the door. I can step out. Good. And then I must get permission. Like, he thinks this is common. Just because I do it first means now he can. He's going to learn that it's only when I release him. This is the safest. Because what if there's something out here that I need to make sure, I need to rely on him to say, if I say stay, I can trust you, that you'll stay while I deal with the situation. That's when I feel good about my dog. When my dog gives me that respect and listens, then I can bring him places and enjoy life with him because I know he's reliable. He's going to make me proud, right? Rather than a dog who's just constantly doing what you don't want them to do, and yes, they know when you don't want them to do something. They're not dumb. They just don't care. Doesn't mean we don't love them any less. Doesn't mean we love them any less. We love them just as much, but it's just the nature of the thing, right? A dog will do what they want to do with the small stuff in life. I'll run out a door. I'll get on a counter, you know? And then maybe if you're in a life-threatening situation, maybe they might defend you. Maybe. They might just run. I'm sitting here buying time to see what he's going to do. All right. Jasper. Break. Good boy. Come on out. That's it. He's learning us to release. Look at old Jasper. Look at that boy right there. And that was beautiful. Was beautiful. I'm wondering at home, because I know that the dog he lives with goes through the same type of language. He must have heard the word break before. He's just probably not paying attention very much. No. Come here, buddy. Come on, buddy. Yeah, it's a beautiful dog. That's a beautiful, little correction there for that. See if I can get an alternative behavior, a sit. That's when the pets come in. Okay? Good. Look at that eye contact. That's when the pets come in. That jump, I'm not mad about the jump. I appreciate he was trying to do something with me to like connect with me. Actually, appreciate that. So I didn't give him a heavy correction. I gave him mild corrections just to let him know I don't like that. And then he gave me the sit and I come down and I say, good boy, very nice work. Just so he can know, oh yeah, don't jump, sit when you want a pet or when you want to interact with me. Okay, that's all. And look, he did it. He took the correction, he took the direction. That's brilliant. Some dogs won't do that. Some dogs will not listen after a correction. They will then give you a correction for correcting them, right? So you go to correct your dog and now they correct you back. Now you're in a mess. He hasn't done that yet. So to me, I'm thinking, this guy's a pretty good boy, right? Yeah, he makes a lot of mistakes, but he can be corrected and directed without getting violent. That's pretty awesome. So I'm documenting all these things in my head and getting to know him. Good boy. And he's not overly anxious right now. Another good thing I'm seeing. Not super stressed or anything like that. Good boy. Seems like pretty good, temperament. Stay. I told him to stay just now. And I know he's not done, and I know he knows what that means. So I'm not thinking, man, this dog doesn't understand what I'm saying to him. I can tell he understands. I can just also tell that he's used to just completely blocking stuff out and not listening. Like, to hear the voice, but just completely zoning it out. Good boy. This is hard for him. If this is hard, see, if this is hard to stay at a threshold, and the dog, you've been working with the dog and there's 3, Let me say this in a different way. Stay. If it's hard for you to say stay and open the door without holding your dog on a leash, they won't stay. And without earning the reward of a food or a game like that, just out of the respect of you saying, I want to be able to go at it without you going at it for permission. If they struggle with that, that's a good test to see if they're going to struggle with just life in general. Because basically, it's just a good way to start a conversation to see if the dog's going to listen. The dog wants to go out the door. If they want to go out the door, and you say, don't go out the door, and you open the door, if that's hard for them to listen, that means your relationship needs some developing. They're challenging you. They're not quite buying into your leadership, right? So then, you open the door, you say stay, and then they go out eventually. Now you talk about it. Correct them, bring them back in. Don't do that. I said, it doesn't matter about the door. It's not necessarily about the door. It's about stuff in general. You want to do this or you want this, and I've said not to. Now we have a conflict here. That's the problem. The problem is I said don't, and you do it anyway. This is a perfect way to get that conversation to come out, right? This is long, thresholds of all sorts, as well as other things I'll do, like food and people, and this is the perfect place to start. Jasper, you're a good boy. Break. That's right. Come on in, Jasper. Yeah, I love that. All right, that's good. I really enjoy that he can be corrected and directed without, so far, throwing a huge temper tantrum, getting very frustrated, trying to run away or trying to bite or something like that. All that is good stuff. Making the mistakes, but able to be corrected and directed means that this, he'll come out nicely. It won't be such a hassle to get him there. We just have to go through the process. If he were to then go into fighting the authority, that's what makes it that you need professional help, I think. Is that, there's more than one way to fight the authority. It's not just biting, and it's not just running away. There's also freezing, where a dog will just do nothing and wait for you to stop pestering it to do something or stop doing something, and then it'll go on, so they can actually ignore you. That's one of the ways. And another way that people see is that a dog will just be stubborn. They'll just literally go out of their way to not listen to you and put up a fuss, if you will. You see that a lot. We see that a lot here. That's not, people don't need help teaching the commands usually, because they can describe to the dog what they want the dog to do pretty easily. It's pretty easy for a human to describe to him that they want them to come near to me, or I want you to go away, or I want you to stay right there. Most people without professional training can get a dog to understand those messages. It's getting the dog to care to be your follower in the pack so that they'll listen to you. That's the part that's hard, okay? All right, buddy, break. That's a very good boy. Are you feeling good? Yes, you're a good boy. Yes, you are. Rig. Come on, Riggy. So I'm going to introduce a new dog into the environment. see the reaction. Good boy, stay right there, good boy. So he's definitely looking at me. Look, now I come over here and I'm going to see what Jasper does. Is he going to go towards the dog, which he shouldn't? Remember, we just said if I'm the leader of the pack, something new comes into the environment that we want to check out, he should hang back and let me say how we do it as a pack. He's not quite doing that. But he's not confident enough to go up on Riggins because I think he understands that I've been very clear at delivering the message that I want first access. This is my opportunity to recall. Come. Almost corrected there. He almost went towards the Riggins. That would have been a correction. He avoided it and came back to me like a slinky though because he doesn't want to come back to me because this is me controlling him. It's not because he doesn't like the recall, it's because he understands I'm controlling him now. Stay, good boy, stay. And now to stay. And then I'm going to take Riggins. Hi, Riggins. And I'm now interacting with the new thing in the room, which is Riggins. I got his hair. I bring his hair back to him so that this dog can realize that he can get the scent off from me when new things enter the environment. Good boy. He's taking it in. And he doesn't need to be the pack member to go up on it. These are little things that I'm describing to him for him to see me as leader. He's going to see me control him like that. He's going to see me control the other dogs. And he's going to say, oh, this guy's the leader. Once a dog sees you as leader, they treat you different. That's when you say, oh, he listens to this person, or they're good for this person because they were able to get that position in the pack. And they're able to hold it and maintain it by correcting the insubordinates, right? It's just how it's done. It's just how it's done. You watch dogs, that's how they do it. You watch police out there watching the roads, that's how they're doing it. Keeping everybody in line, that's what I'm doing. It's my responsibility, right? Good boy. Now I'm gonna let Riggins down. See how they interact. Great. Good. You're a good boy, Jasper. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You break. I want to let him know he can move if he wants to. Okay, come to me, put down. When he comes over to me, I keep the other dogs away. You see that? You see? Okay, so he's going to notice that I can tell the rest of the world to take a hike. He don't have to. So that means that's just more brownie points for me being the leader. The leader has to be able to protect. You can't forget about that. So I'm giving him examples that I'm going to be able to protect and provide, but I also want to be able to say when, where, and how. Very natural for them to take that type of direction. It's very natural for them in their own pack to have hierarchies. So when I start talking to him this way, it might be the first time a human has talked to him this way, but it's not something completely foreign to him. That's why you see it kind of going, when you do this with a dog, you can see it works. It's because they can actually follow humans the same way they would follow dogs in the pack. They can see you as leader, and they will treat you different. It's just how it is. You see, if you stay, my dog looked at me, right? Say, this is a resource. This is as if a big fat steak fell into the middle of the room and we're all hungry. Were we gonna fight over it, or are you gonna let me go and deal with it because I'm the leader and I will divvy it up kind of thing, you know? Same thing as the door. Everybody wants to go out the door. Good. If he looks at me, he gets a good boy. Stay. Good. Break. Good boy. Come on, buddy. Break. Let's go. That's it. That's it. Very nice. Very nice. I think it's a good place to start. See if he has to go potty. He might just sit there, but. Definitely out of his comfort zone, out of his element. It'll take a couple of days for him to probably feel more at ease. He's 3. He got picked out, taken out of his house. Probably all he knows is like a couple rooms and a little walk, right? Dogs, if you can't take your dog out and do much with them, they get a pretty small life. So they go in somewhere new like this, it can be, like we said before, he loses all of his confidence. But his confidence is going to come back, but it's going to come back as a follower, not as an independent or a leader, okay? He's going to be confident in listening. So he can rely on listening to get through situations. He can rely on these skills that we're going to teach him that are healthy alternative reactions to what he normally does. Like going crazy when the owners are home is going to be replaced with being quiet and calm. Just like that, just like he is now. So you see how he's like this and let me pet him? He's chill? That's what I want when you come home. I don't want Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that's what I would describe to him. And that's what I am going to describe to him is I don't want any of that. I just want you to be calm while I pet you and chill. I don't want to hear, oh, and I definitely don't want to hear any vocalization. Because me personally, I can't have wiggle room with that because I have so many dogs here. If they all thought it was an option to just start speaking their mind, it would be a very noisy place. I wouldn't even be able to talk to you right now because all the dogs in the other room would be blah, 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 blah. And they would be, but they're not because just like the cop pulling you over and giving you a ticket for speeding, we're giving them tickets for barking, right? They're getting proper punishment for barking, meaning that it works, meaning it stops the punishment or it stops the barking fast, and we're giving them alternative behavior. Lay down and be quiet, right? That's it. If you feel like barking, just don't. Just lay down and relax, okay? Barking's not going to work out, and being quiet will work out. And we keep that on repeat, and as you can hear, we got a room full of barking dogs, aka, well, supposedly, and nobody's barking. It's just that you can bark at home, and nothing happens. If I speed past cops and I never ever get pulled over, they're going to lose their value. I'm just going to see a cop and say, huh, right? So he's not actually getting a consequence for barking. Barking is self-rewarding, so isn't jumping. Self-rewarding, so it's going to continue, it's going to pattern deep, and it's going to become intense because it's self-rewarding. Jumping and barking and whining are all expressions that are rewarding in and of themselves, and you don't have to reward them in order for them to increase in intensity. Punishment decreases behaviors. So if he got corrected for doing the nonsense, oh, and if you're rewarding it by letting him out of the kennel, going crazy, let him out of the kennel, huge reward for that. Going crazy, interacting with him by petting him, huge reward for that. If there was any of that, then we really told his brain that there's no reason to stop doing this. Now he just got here. Now it's like, we'll correct you for that, knock it off, let's move on. Goes away. Go away, just like that. Alright. Stay. I would love some eye contact, personally. That would be really nice. So I kind of try to wait for that. See if I'll get anything. Good. Break. And then I got some eye contact. So he's going to learn to look at me, and this will go faster. Whoop. Good boy, buddy. That's all really good. All really good. We're really new at this stuff, and we got a long ways to go. Good boy. But he's learning already. He's had some corrections. He's had some direction. I would say he took that well, which is always a good sign. And so now it's just going through the process here. And within a few weeks, I feel we're gonna have this guy confident again, feeling good, but none of the bad behaviors, right? Like he's gonna be confident in being my follower and knowing the details of how to behave that way. So he's losing confidence in the beginning because why? Well, his defense is being stripped away. Anything that he normally already does, we're saying don't do those. The behaviors that are driving the owners nuts. You know, a good example is when a dog barks heavily on the walk, which their other dog did, and they got this big bravado towards the world, and you take that away, a dog can feel insecure for a little while until they start to feel secure about the new way, the new skills, which is being a follower and doing whatever the owner has you do in that situation. But if they're used to expressing in one way, if you take that away, it feels like, well, I don't know what to do. There's a little bit of vulnerability there. So we always let him know the alternative. Easy thing is, the alternative is listening, whatever I tell you to do in that moment. So it's not like he's got to do a lot of thinking. It's actually the opposite. He hardly has to do any critical thinking. We're going to do that for him. Good. Okay, buddy. That was good enough for today. Break. That's right. That's a good boy. Break. I'm going to recall here. That's a boy. See if he wraps around back. No, that's a perfect position. That's a good start. Good boy, Jasper. Very nice. You're a smart boy, aren't you? Yes, I am. I'm a good boy and I'm a smart boy. I know.